Hare Krishna. It's a great honor and responsibility to speak on the topic of Srimad Bhagavatam in the holiest of all the places, Srila Prabhupada, Vrindavan, in front of so many exalted Vaishnavas, beginning with Srila Prabhupada's disciples. So before I start, I wanted to ask for your blessings so that I could say something which is meaningful and useful for everyone, beginning with myself. So we will chant our prayers dedicated to Hari Guru and Vaishnavas, and please pray for Sagara Swami that he would address the topic in an appropriate and not too worrying way. After all, it's within your interest. So we continue reading from the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 66, which is entitled Pauṇḍraka, the false Vasudeva, text number 9. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Mukhaṁ apidhāyājña. Sorry, that's ajña. Mukhaṁ apidhāyājña. Kaṅka gṛdhra vaṭaiḥ. Kaṅka gṛdhra śayiṣyase tatra. śayiṣyase tatra. Bhavitā śaraṇam śunām. Bhavitā śaraṇam śunām. Mukhaṁ apidhāyājña. Sorry, it's ajña. Yes. Mukhaṁ apidhāyājña. Is it ajña or ajña? Ajña. Yeah. Okay. Kaṅka gṛdhra śayiṣyase tatra. Bhavitā śaraṇam śunām. Synonyms: read, mukhaṁ, face, that. Apidhāya, being covered. Ajña, or ignorant man. Kaṅka, by herons. gṛdhra, vultures. vaṭaiḥ, and vaṭa, birds. vṛtaḥ, surrounded. śayiṣyase, you will lie. hataḥ, kill. tatra, thereupon. bhavitā, you will become. śaraṇam, shelter. śunām, for dogs. So this is very exciting response of Sri Krishna to Pauṇḍraka's challenge. When you lie dead, O fool, your face covered by vultures, herons, and other birds, you will become the shelter of dogs, burned by disciples of Krishna and Bhakti Rasayana Sagara. Pauṇḍraka foolishly told the Supreme Lord to come to him for shelter. But here Lord Krishna tells him, you are not my shelter, but rather you will become the shelter of dogs when they happily feast on your dead body. Srila Prabhupada vividly describes this scene as follows. Lord Krishna told Pauṇḍraka, when I shall destroy you, foolish king, you will have to conceal your face in disgrace, and when your head is severed from your body by my beast, you will be surrounded by meat-eating birds like vultures, hawks, and eagles. At that time, instead of becoming my shelter, as you have demanded, you will be subjected to the mercy of these low-born birds. At that time, your body will be thrown to the dogs, who will eat it with great pleasure. Mukhaṁ apidhāyājña kaṅka vṛtaḥ śayiṣyase tatra bhavitā śraṇam. When you lie dead or full, your face covered by vultures, herons, and other birds, you will become the shelter of dogs. So this is a type of topic which is not pleasing for many people. Bloody scene challenges, because some people, they want to see Krishna only dancing and enjoying, something without any blood. But yes, there is blood also in Krishna consciousness. When there was the first picture drawn of Nrsimhadev tearing Hiranyakashipu, Prabhupada looked at it and he said, why there is so little blood? There has to be plenty of blood. This thing has to be as bloody as possible. So Krishna consciousness involves everything, even fighting, because Krishna is enjoying everything. He is the almost enjoyer. And at least for me, it's a very clear topic discussing someone like Pauṇḍraka, because this is someone I can easily identify myself with, challenging the Supreme Lord and pretending to be God. This is really what we came to the neighborhood for. Pauṇḍraka is a very interesting character because some sources say that he's a reincarnation of Vena Maharaj, who always wanted to be God. So didn't succeed. In the first place was first included by Brahmanas. But then, in here, he had full opportunity to play the part of God. And interestingly enough, his father's name was also Vasudeva. Just not husband of Dvivida, was a different Vasudeva, so happened to be namesake of Krishna's father. And I guess when Pauṇḍraka would hear Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, he would become very excited. That is what they start worshiping me. They recognize me as the Supreme Lord. So he was identifying himself with Sri Krishna Vasudeva. in that sense. And of course, he was always jealous why Krishna is glorified as Vasudeva, why that Vasudeva was glorified, why not this Vasudeva was glorified. And as scriptures say, he went to perform 12 years of austerities, very severe austerities with Lord Shiva. And when Lord Shiva appeared in front of him, asking what kind of womb he wants, the idiot, he asked to look like Krishna, to be like Krishna in external appearance. If you would be smart enough, I guess Pauṇḍraka could easily, if he wanted to commit suicide, he could easily jump from the height of his whole seva to the level of his IQ, that would definitely kill him. So he was not smart enough. And therefore, he didn't ask to be like Krishna in his qualities. If he would ask that would be perfection, right? To be like Krishna in humility, in simplicity, in love towards all living entities, in service attitude. What is devotional service? It is when we realize that Krishna is serving me 24/7, and we think, let me reciprocate. Let me also do something for Krishna. He's done so much for me. Since time immemorial, he served me in every single way. So can I reciprocate with him? So that's all devotional service. As Prabhupada say that devotional service begins with the sense of gratitude. But he wanted to become God. He didn't want to serve God. He didn't want to surrender to Krishna. Rather, indeed, he was demanding that Krishna should surrender unto him. And Krishna said, you become my shaka. Some people, they think, this verse from Bhagavad Gita 5:29, so they think this verse applies to them, that they can enjoy all the austerities and sacrifices everybody is doing. They can be the supreme friend and supreme master of everybody. So that was Pauṇḍraka's illusion. And it's really important to look at, because this is what we came to the world for, to try to imitate God, to try to be God rather than surrender to God. That's why Krishna consciousness movement will never be as popular as so many pseudo-spiritual movements when they tell people you just chant this mantra and do this little yajna or puja and you will become God in 3 days. Just pay us good money and we will provide you with the opportunity to become God. Because this is what people want, even religious people. This is what they're looking for, right? There was a funny episode when Srila Prabhupada was traveling on the train and he had few of his sannyas disciples with him. And some local people came to Srila Prabhupada asking for his blessings, Ashirvad. Swamiji, please give us Ashirvad. Prabhupada looked at them, he realized what they want. And he said, are you sure you want my Ashirvad, you want my blessings? Look at them. They want my blessing. They come from very wealthy country, very wealthy family. Now look at them, they all don't have shoes. You want my Ashirvad? And they said, Swamiji, let us think about it. They back out. So, Krishna consciousness is not something which many people will be interested in the real world. That's why Manusha and Sadhu devotees are very rare personalities. But Pauṇḍraka Vasudeva type are everywhere. And of course, we could discuss in so many ways about this type of conditioning. Interesting angle is, at least for me personally, how merciful and how kind Krishna is, even to such characters as Pauṇḍraka. That gives hope, at least to myself. That Pauṇḍraka demanded that I want to become a shelter, even for you. And Krishna said, okay, you will become the shelter, but not for me, for those of vultures. You will become their shelter, they will make shelter in your dead body after I kill you. And later, he said, when I see your head with my sudarshan chakra. And funny enough, that, Pauṇḍraka demanded from the Supreme Lord, you falsely took my symbols, these chakra, vaṭa, these divine symbols belong to me, so you give them to me, you give them back to me. And Krishna said, sure. We'll start with sudarshan, catch it if you can. What happened? You couldn't catch it. So, it's interesting that sometimes we think, why only Krishna? Or we might think, why only Krishna has to be the Supreme Lord? Why not somebody else? Like someone I see in the mirror, for example. Why there is no election in the spiritual world? Because Krishna is detached, right? If he has total detachment, he should also be detached from his godhood, from his supreme position. Why can't he give it to someone else? Pauṇḍraka wanted it. Why couldn't he make him God? Well, Krishna's right. He won't let his catch. So, that's this reality that no one can exceed Krishna in anything. Krishna is the best at everything. And so, even if someone is foolish enough trying to possess these divine symbols, they don't have that qualification. So, by default, Krishna has to remain the Supreme Lord forever. Because he's the only one who fit to have that position. And so, but then, and we will learn after being killed, Krishna fulfilled his desire because he wanted to be like God with 4 hands. So he assumed that form. He attained not only impersonal liberation as most of the Hindus, but actually he was Sadhu. He assumed the form which is like God, very much so. As we learned from Srimad Bhagavatam, when Kumar would enter the Vrindavan planet, before entering, he would see 400 evolved person coming out of the gates of Vaikuntha, and he would offer him his obeisance, glorifying him as the Supreme Lord, and that person would cover his ear and say, no, I'm just his servant. And another one, even more devoted, he would think this is definitely the Supreme Lord would offer him obeisance, and that person would say, no, I'm just his servant. So, Vaikuntha means so many people, they look like Narayana, but they're actually good. So Pauṇḍraka achieved that level. So in a sense, Krishna fulfilled all his desires. He wanted my peace taken. He wanted to be like me, be like me. So Krishna is very, very merciful. Even towards the worst of the demons, he heals. And of course, Pauṇḍraka had to suffer greatly for his offensive mentality, and his offensive attitude came from arrogance and bad association, actually. So bad association is where it all starts. That's why when he was asked, what is the behavior of the Vaishnava, what was the first and foremost thing he said? Asat, Sangha, Vaishnava. So the first point in devotee behavior is to avoid bad association, because this is where it all starts. For example, we might be surprised looking at many demons, who they were and how they became demons, and discovered that mostly they were devotees and great devotees too. Even such personality as son of Krishna, son of Bhagavatam and Dvivida, he became a demon by that association. Even such a great devotee as Dvivida, who was trying to fight with Lord Kṛṣṇa, as we know, in Ramayana, he was a great devotee, direct associate of Hanuman, serving Lord Kṛṣṇa, but then became jealous of Lakshmana. It's interesting, right? You serve the Lord, but you become jealous of the Lord, you turn into demon. And the first point is jealousy and pride lead to bad association. So that's why, bad association can turn even great devotee into a demon, of course, great demon. And we will discuss forever on the topic, but what is the most important for us is antidote. What do we do? And of course, Sadhu Sanga, Sadhu Sanga, Sadhu Sanga. The best remedy for bad association is to have good association. And this is why we come to this wonderful holy place to associate with wonderful devotees, saintly personalities. And as Srila Prabhupada will say that the entire spiritual world is situated here, on the premises of Sri Krishna. Everything is here, and all the holy association we might ever dream of is also here. But the great devotees, they do not necessarily go around advertising themselves as great devotees. And because I have a good fortune of visiting this wonderful place for decades together, I happen to know some of the amazing, wonderful devotees residing here. And not just residing for their own benefit, but actually taking huge responsibility in Srila Prabhupada's mission. And the first and foremost person I could think of is our Prabhupada, very senior Prabhupada disciple. And very interesting, he said that glorification of the Lord includes glorifying His devotees. So I want to say a few words about that. That when I asked him yesterday, for the sake of knowing, for how many years you carried the responsibility of managing here, he said, since 93. So for over 30 years, is holding the responsibility for managing this, we can say, most important temple, because this is the way to all the places, but it's not an easy place even to be. How many of you are recognizing that? Even to visit Vrindavan is not an easy thing. Because Vrindavan is such an intense place, right? If you do something wrong, there can be so many bad reactions, not to speak of not just residing here, but actually carrying the responsibility and very tough responsibility. Because, as they say, the candle is leading the entire room, but there is always dark under the candle. And it's interesting that all the years I've known him, one thing I don't know is where his office is. And I'm not even sure if he has one. Because he's always in the temple, always jolly, always welcoming, always taking part in so many devotional activities, always looking after his devotees. And he's surrounded by a wonderful team of devotees. So many, like even listening to all the devotees who take the rest of the time easily. Huge team, but few personalities I can think of is Janardhan Maharaj for many years, very steady, and they attract amazing devotees as well. One of them is also Bhakti Rasayana Sagara. It's quite a long name to remember. Even my name, people always make mistakes. They say either Bhakti Sagara Swami or Bhakti Rasayana Sagara. Something they leave out in there. And then, of course, listen to say, just remember Sagara Swami. Because as one devotee told me, I had trouble remembering names which are longer than 2 syllables. So Sagara is short enough for everyone to remember. But Maharaj's name, I remembered immediately because he's such an outstanding personality. And, singing like one people from very, very long, always in the back, even though he's right in the back, not in front. And his service attitude is mind-blowing. I had an opportunity in my brahmachari days to interact with him. I brought a group when he was vice president in Guru, India, temple in Delhi. And I requested, could we have some prasadam rooms for these devotees? He said, sure, if you provided very nice rooms, excellent prasadam, then personally look after us. And then he asked, how do you go to the train station? I said, we book taxis. He said, no need, I will arrange double bus. All of you can go in the bus. And then the driver didn't turn up in the morning. Just slept through. And I told Maharaj, the driver didn't come. We're going to be late for our training. He said, no problem, I will drive personally. I'm driving in India, bus, Indian bus. It's a big challenge. But he didn't care. Even if there was an accident, but he didn't care. He just sat at the steering wheel and went ahead. And I asked Maharaj, you've done so much for us, no charge. Could you please give at least some donation for all your care and all the effort? And what was his response? That blew my mind, especially in India. He said, you will be going to so many places and people will be expecting so much donation from you. Just all over your Lakshmi, give them to where you have to do, and here it's all free service. We don't need so much service attitude, complete selflessness. And they naturally attract like-minded people, so many wonderful devotees who are helping here, Dharma Prabhu and many others. So if you think they're doing great service, if you're really happy with them, please say, Haribol. And it's a wonderful devotees to associate with and learn from their example. For example, I really like the Nirvana, because he's always so personal, always cracking so many jokes, and always in a jolly mood. I don't know how that happened. I guess he was so much mercy from Srila Prabhupada and from Srila Prabhupada. He's always blissful with Krishna consciousness. Amazing example. And so, association with devotees like that, and of course, there are so many more devotees in here. So, association with all these wonderful devotees is a perfect antidote against all the Pauṇḍraka propensities which are naturally dormant in the heart of every single conditioned soul in this material world. And if we associate with these devotees and we serve these devotees, then we are very well protected from all the troubles in the material world. Hare Krishna. So thank you very much. If there are so many very, very senior Vaishnavas here, if anyone wants to add something or subtract, correct, whatever, maybe I wrongly said, you're welcome to do so. We have a microphone. Please share whatever thoughts you have.
Thank you, Maharaj, for the class. Nice to see you. On the topic of being in vṛtaḥ, it's so sweet. And then one day you wake up and somehow you're not feeling that sweet. And you realize, oh, I just in this place, they're asking me for some money, something. You give what you can sometimes, but it's unavoidable. You get someone in the wrong mood, or I'm in the wrong mood, I just spoke out whatever. It's unavoidable. Just how offensive. Even if you didn't mean it, or thinking, yeah. I'm just thinking, maybe that's why I'm not feeling it today, because, the other day I just didn't feel a little bit too rough in saying, no, or something like that. I was thinking this morning of how I absorbed all these different reactions. Is it okay, is it possible to pray to the Vaishnavas? Please, maybe I was too rough to something with someone. I didn't mean, I don't know them. I don't know if I know them, I can go personally apologize. And if I don't, is it possible to pray like that? Is there some problem in that sense? To not lose the mercy of being here.
Easier question. Can we pray to become free from the karmic reactions from our past? Well, actually that would be desire for liberation, because this is what liberation means, to become free from karma. This is not something we should be praying for. Rather, we should pray to become Krishna conscious, because if we become Krishna conscious, then our consciousness will change. And together with the change of our consciousness, the environment will change as well. And how many of you instantly notice that if you have kind of maybe aggressive or suspicious or any type of negative attitude towards others, they respond in the same way. Anyone notice that? So that's very clear. And on the other side, you have the loving and welcoming attitude towards others tend to respond in the same way. So it shows how important consciousness is, and that's why what's the topmost level of consciousness? That's Krishna consciousness. Everything depends on that. If we have Krishna consciousness, our environment will change, everything will change. But as long as we are in material consciousness, we have to deal with this rough surface of Raj. Actually, just the other day I was remembering this amazing song. It has no author, which means that the author of this song was too humble and he didn't want himself to be glorified. He just wanted the Lord to be glorified. So it's a Hindu song which is called Jaya Mata Madana Murari Radhe Shyam Shyam Shyam. Some of you might know this song. Anyone familiar with this song? Good. Amazing song which glorifies all Krishna's pastimes and how Krishna was saving different devotees. Draupadi, Gṛdhra, Arjuna, everybody. And of course the Raj, and one line, one stanza of this song says that my Lord, you're saving these devotees in different way, but because they have great devotion towards you. But what can I do? I have no devotion. I'm just standing at the door, and please receive favorably the views of our that's all we can do. We can pray because we are at this outer surface of Raj. We have no entrance into real Raj. Of course, we can feel the energy of Raj. But if we would actually enter the real Raj, that would blow our minds for lifetime. We will never be able to even think of anything in the material world at all. We will never be able to think of anything unrelated to Krishna anymore. But it takes mercy. That's why everybody in here is saying Radhe Radhe, because Srimad Bhagavatam is the mistress who is holding the key to this world. And she is also providing the external covering of us, because there is one verse wherein Srila Prabhupada says, Srimad Bhagavatam is always interested. Are you coming to Krishna to serve him or disturb him? If you come to serve, you're welcome. But if you come to disturb him, I will become Lord. I will never let you eat. So that's why our attitude and mercy is the two most important things to enter into the, to get this mystical portal, if you will, be open for us so that we will enter in real Raj. Yes, please.
Hare Krishna, I understand very wonderful class. You made this comment that jealousy and pride is a result of bad association. So it seems like there's a thread so far what I can understand that's getting built about association in this pastime. Could you explain about, so the example of pride versus bad association, the friends that pumped him out and then he became disagree. Could you explain how the jealousy part will also play?
How the jealousy is connected to pride? There is a natural link, because if you are proud, if you think, I think of myself being really high, then I will be always feeling that I'm not respected enough. Why? Because all the respect I deserve goes to somebody else. And who is that somebody else? For Pauṇḍraka, it was very clear, it was Krishna. You know, all the respect should go to me, but it is passing by me, it goes to Krishna. Why Krishna? Why not me? Why Krishna is worshipped? Why Krishna is glorified? And, you know, Krishna, this is how Pauṇḍraka was thinking, right? We can say that, I think, that this is how he was thinking, because this is exactly how all the other things were thinking. He is the king, but he didn't start as a king. He was a cowherd boy. He was just looking after the cows in the village. And by hook and crook, he became a king. And he was always a criminal. He was born in jail. And he was stealing all his life. And also giving, you know, authorities tried to rectify him. They were Mathura authority. Mathura knowledge. He was sending so many of his, you know, top level officials to ask Krishna or kill Krishna or whatever. They just wanted to, he just wanted to deal with Krishna one way or the other. And Krishna would kill them. So stealing, killing, Srila, right? He verbalized all these so-called faults of Krishna. And Pauṇḍraka could very easily think, he is the king, I am also the king. He used to be a cowboy, I never been a cowboy. I am king, by, the, what do you call it? From the beginning, I was a prince, now I am a king. I'm also Vasudeva. I was not born in jail. And I wasn't sitting under reading other people's thoughts, my behavior was so my father. Why he glorified? Why not me? This is where jealousy can. So from a name perspective, he would justify his attitude very easily. This is the problem now with material perceptions. That's why we need guidance from someone like Srila Prabhupada to let us exactly the truth in relation to Krishna. Otherwise, yes, we have these demonic tendencies, and he would come across other people like that, and that's it for the Krishna. Thank you. Maharaj. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Swami Maharaj ki Jai. Also, always very listening to Krishna consciousness.
Thank you so much. Bhakti Rasayana Sagara Swami Maharaj. He was speaking about the real gṛdhra and how it would blow our minds if we really understand the real gṛdhra, and that if we could come to this platform, we would never think of anything else unrelated to Krishna. So this is a wonderful platform we all aspire for. And you shared with us that it will take mercy to attain this platform. So could you kindly share with us more about mercy? What is it and how can we receive it?
From my humble understanding, whatever it's worth, these two things. First, of course, is getting the mercy of Vaishnavas. By the mercy of Vaishnavas, you get the mercy of the topmost Vaishnava, Srila Prabhupada. By service, developing service attitude, And the other side is purification of the heart. And sometimes that purification might be pretty harsh. We might have to go through pretty harsh experiences. And I had some experience of that in Russia. And I was thinking, why do I have to go through all this pain and all this? And then at some point I realized that it's a very simple method to help us realize I got this body. Because if body enjoys, if we have an opportunity to enjoy it through the body, it's very, we can theoretically understand about the body, but it's very pleasant to identify ourselves with the body. But if body suffers, you cannot help but think, I don't want to have anything to do with this bag of balls. So you become totally detached. So attraction is formed by service, and detachment is formed by going through difficult experiences in the material world. That's why Srila Prabhupada says, real devotee considers hardships in the material world as another form of Krishna's mercy. And without that, it would be very hard for us to advance in Krishna consciousness. Very interesting. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Maharaj. Allow me to briefly share what Vast Srila Prabhupada and then ask you a question also. On this topic of humility, somebody asked Srila Prabhupada, why do we fall into Maya? Prabhupada looked at him, we fall into Maya? We're always in Maya. Sometimes we fall into Krishna. So I found the story was really meaningful. In right terms, always Maya, only when you associate with what is like here, and I try to go into Krishna. Question Maharaj is that you mentioned the devotional service begins with the sense of gratitude. Can you kindly elaborate on that? Devotional service begins with the sense of gratitude.
Devotional service begins with gratitude because our service, it's mentioned so many times in Bhagavad Gita and other scriptures that it has to be unmotivated. Means that we should not desire for a reward for our devotional service or salary. As Prahlad Maharaj says, if I would ask you for something, that will not be service, that's going to be a business exchange. I serve, then you pay me, and that's it. Of course, one time you will say that my job is to serve Krishna, and I do want salary, and that salary should be Krishna payment. But that's the only salary we should aspire for. But no material salary. That means the beginning of real devotional service is to realize how much I already gained by Krishna's mercy, by my Guru's mercy, by Vaishnava's mercy. How tolerant they are towards me, how kind they are towards me. And I also want to reciprocate. I also want to do something to please them in exchange. So we should be catching up with expressing our gratitude for service rather than doing our service hoping to gain something material from that. That's the idea of gratitude at the beginning of devotional service. Or the beginning of developing love for Krishna. Thank you. One comment and question. Actually, in relation to your comment, that point dawned on me here in Vrindavan. It happens sometimes that we do commit offenses, right? And I noticed one time in Raja I committed an offense, and I knew that reaction to this event should be very severe. And I was like expecting the severe reaction from my friends. And then I got unexpected huge mercy from Krishna. And I was thinking, what is this? I was supposed to get that reaction from my friends, but I got so much mercy. And then I realized one simple thing, that I commit offenses every day, every hour, every minute, every second. But very rarely I'm recognizing that I committed an offense. And for this recognition I was rewarded. Krishna inspired me, okay, at least sometimes you notice you commit an offense, okay, for this, get your reward. Yeah, in relation to that point, that we're always in mind, but sometimes we're following Krishna. Yes.
Maharaj, when you say that the gṛdhra was Srishti Hanumanji in Ramlila, and then he fell down, even by manifestation. Can you tell what happened with Srishti?
What happened to Dvivida, how he became demon from being such a great devotee? Yes, because he was jealous of Lakshmana, and he was critical of Lakshmana. And by that, he degraded, he left the association of Lakshmana, and he got into bad association. And from there he became demon. And he lived long life, so he lived long enough to see Krishna Balaram's ascents. And then of course the same Lakshmana whom he was so envious of came at Lord Balaram, and because he became jealous of Lord Balaram, and Balaram killed him. Hare Krishna. I think we should be last one because our time is over. We should not keep noticing. Waiting. Thank you.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, in the 6th verse, Pauṇḍraka, when he's responding to Krishna, he says, "Oh Sattva." I was trying to find out why does he say Sattva when he says Sattva is the king of Sattvas. Could you please explain?
Yeah, king of Sattvas. Sattvas is a dynasty, among the because in America you say dynasty, you get dynasties, or other way around. In the lineage, this is the lineage, right? Something that lineage is longer. But Sattva also means great devotee, so because the lineage of devotees, so two meanings to the, one is lineage and the other one is devotees. So he's using this verse as a Krishna son. Gṛdhra ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai.